Come, let us practice Tantric Chanting and then meditate like a Jedi. Now, I think I'm going to edit that, make it just remove the preposition then. One, two, three. Let's see if that fits on the page appropriately. It does. Cowabunga. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to tap button 9. This text is available for free download as a PDF that has been formatted to be viewed horizontally on your smartphone. So we're going to play with 3 categories of exercises. Slice through, mindfulness and meditation, channels, winds, and drops, energy work, and leap over, passive contemplations. We're going to repeat them multiple times each. Four times, 2 times, 2 times. We begin with channels, winds, and drops, known in some Tibetan circles as Jigme and some American circles as energy work. This was my first introduction to Tibetan Buddhism. Upon the tip of our left index finger, let's try this again, as our left index finger supports the great knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Let us practice the third enlightenment factor's energy work of bliss and letting go in such a manner that it feels as if the force itself is giving us a kiss upon the top of our head. To do this, we require neither blind faith nor exhausting visualizations, but simply recitation of the following 6 syllables. Lama come to pay crown. Lama here, so this bronze statue represents us, the meditator. This image here represents either the literal teacher or the figurative teachings. Lama come to pay crown. 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 We come now to our first of 4 exercises of slicing through dualities, obscuring emotions of dread and desire, known in Tibet as Trek Show and known in English as mindfulness and meditation, the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. If we make the mistake of following the popular advice to actively focus and actively analyze, we will so exhaust our dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortex that we will begin presenting with symptoms of depression, no less triggering our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. However, when we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, the amygdala is automatically calmed, and the anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy, is automatically gently stimulated, which is quite lovely. Fabulous. How do we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system? Well, every time we inhale, we are wired to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, known as the sympathetic, nexus of our sympathetic nervous system, which helps us to notice in a very special way, which helps us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. What do we do with that which we notice? Well, every time we exhale, we are already wired. We have already evolved to automatically access the top bit and the bottom bit of that same spinal cord, known as the nexus of our parasympathetic nervous system, which is wired to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. So, what is the key to effortlessly watching the antics of mind as we breathe in and relax into its non-graspable nature as we breathe out? Simple. All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the verb watch each time we feel air enter our nostrils, as well as silently and mentally recite the verb rest each time we feel air exit our nostrils. Come, let us practice together right now. When learning a new skill, it's easy to feel anxious. And when learning to meditate, it's easy to get scared of time loss. That we, like some sort of a Rip Van Winkle, will sit down to meditate and open our eyes to find a decade is gone, which would be really weird. So a non-neuronic way around this is to practice a variation of Bengali crease counting, using techniques to keep track of our inhalations, our sets of inhalations, and our collections of sets of inhalations. So here's how we do that. We touch the tip of our left thumb to the lowest set of creases on its little finger. Thus, we are keeping track of our first set of 16 inhalations. This hand is now palms up in our lap. With our right hand, we actually count those inhalations. Every time we silently and mentally recite the verb watch as we feel air enter our nostrils, we advance our right thumb. Please follow along with me, beginning with the bottom of the little finger. Having run out of creases and fingertips, it's time for the left thumb to advance to the next set of creases on this little finger. And that's the basic method for keeping track of 16 sets of 16 inhalations each. Now, to keep track of our first collection, we can, upon the tip, just like we did a few moments ago, upon the tip of our left index finger, we can rest the great knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Although it's possible to count 16 sets this way, we're only going to count a total of 4. We come now to our first of two, or we come now to the exercise wherein we leap over pride's obstructions to omniscience. This is known in some Tibetan circles as Tokal. We could describe it as the wisdom of letting go. So together, let's chant. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors with statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Let us begin by bringing our experience of the circumstantial. So the Buddha was fond of organizing all experience in terms of the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. Let us begin with the circumstantial by bringing it into the path of the wisdom of letting go, the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. As we relax into our exhalation, the circumstances or lots we saw during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. Let us divide the silent and mental recitation of the 6-syllable synopsis between our inhalation and our exhalation into form all lots melt. The delicious irony of this exercise of leaping over pride is that it uses our self-centeredness to transcend our self-centeredness, not unlike fighting fire with fire. And now we bring our experience of the physical into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, the bodies or forms we felt during our previous... Let's try that again. As we relax into our exhalation, the bodies or forms we felt during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. Into speech, all forms melt. Let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, the experience of the interpersonal speech or communication we heard during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Let us divide the silent and mental recitation of the 6-syllable synopsis between our inhalation and our exhalation. Into mind, all speech melts. Fourthly, in addition to bringing our experience of the mental into the path of the wisdom of letting go, we're going to more fully explore the metaphor of emptiness. As we relax into our exhalation, these minds could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light. I think there is... Let's continue. That could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. Into void, all minds melt. One, two, three. Let's do a quick edit here just to make life more interesting. Let's hit this button. That should do it. And let's go over here and hit outline. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Let's hit insert and put it back to home. We come now to our third of four exercises of slicing through the duality of, let's try that again, our third of four exercises of slicing through dualities, obscuring emotions of dread and desire, known in some Tibetan circles as Trek Sho, and in English is either awareness and letting go or mindfulness and meditation, the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. As we breathe in through our nose, may we silently and mentally recite the verb watch. As we breathe out through our nose, may we silently and mentally recite the verb rest. We're just using our breath as the way a piano student treats a metronome. So together, let us sit and breathe and watch the antics of mind as well as rest in its non-graspable nature. We come to our second and final practice of channels, winds, and drops, known in some Tibetan circles as tikle, and sometimes described in English as energy work or simply bliss and letting go. Aha. As the tip of our left middle finger supports the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, let's make sure my hands are on screen, palms up in our lap, let us practice the third enlightenment factor of the energy work of bliss and letting go in such a manner that it could feel like the force itself is giving us a hug. This bronze statue represents us, the meditator. This red image represents either our teacher or the teachings. To practice this, we require neither blind faith, neither superstitious faith, nor visualization. All we need to do is chant the following 6 syllables, Lama blend with this mind. 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 We come now to our third of 4 practices of slicing through duality's obscuring emotions of dread and desire, known in some Tibetan circles as Treksho, and simply awareness and letting go, or mindfulness and meditation in English. As we feel our chest swell, we could silently and mentally recite the verb watch. As we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale, silently and mentally we could recite the verb rest. And as such together we could watch the antics of mind and rest in its non-graspable nature. We come now to, let us now leap over jealousies, obstructions to omniscience, a practice known in some Tibetan circles as Tokal. It could be described in English as passive contemplation. Or love and letting go. I think I'll just do this instead. Here we go. Love and letting go. All right. Let's do some chanting. Let us practice the holocron-like exercises of love and letting go, beginning with a bit of an introduction. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Going to chant an explanation of this 10-syllable mantra. Om symbolizes mindfulness, Tade symbolizes spiritual liberation. Tade symbolizes physical liberation, Ture symbolizes blessing. Soa symbolizes the wish that all beings master such dynamic kindness. The kindness that notices suffering and takes action to remedy suffering. The Buddha was fond of explaining that all that we can perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, or imagine fits into 4 categories. The interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial. Let's begin with the mental. Let us bring the mental into the path of love, which is the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. May all minds of all beings know be as joyfully enlightened or bodhi as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a bija, 1 syllable seed mantra tamoti clay drop. Thanks for the love. Let us divide the silent and mental recitation of the 6-syllable synopsis between our inhalation and our exhalation. Bodhi joy for all minds. And now we come to the union, the Mahamudra of love and letting go. Here's how it works. During our inhalation, we could passively, silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable synopsis, Bodhi joy for all minds. During our exhalation, we can do 2 things. We can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. Now, if this is your first rodeo, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa. After a lifetime of being conditioned to being rigid and controlling, we tend to think we have to work hard, that during the inhalation we have to squeeze love out of our heart as if we were wringing a washcloth, and that during our exhalation we're supposed to have some great epiphany about the nature of mind. Don't worry about that. The quick path is the effortless path. If all we do during our inhalation is passively read the loving wish, that's enough to exercise our neural pathways that support empathy. If all we do is physically relax as best we can while chanting the mantra, that is enough to master the wisdom of letting go. Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, 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 Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa. Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa. We now bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of love, the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Thanks for the love. May all relationships, communication, or speech of all beings now be as peacefully loving as a... Let's go over here real quick. 1, 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3. May all relationships, communication, or speech of all beings now be as peacefully loving as a... Real or imagined Buddhist speech or communication symbolized by this horizontal 10-syllable mantra. Peaceful love for all speech. Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, 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 Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa. Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa. Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nu Nare Nure Sawa. Now let us bring our experience of the physical into the path of love, the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Excuse me. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health as depicted in Buddhist statuary of the blissful body, let's try that again. of the blissful body of a Devi or Yadam and archetype of enlightenment such as Green Tata. Health beauty for all forms. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Sawa. 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 Om Dani 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 Du Nani Nuri Sawa. We now bring our experience of the circumstantial into the path of love, the fifth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, great fortune, or boon. As were Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vanti. Great fortune for all lots. Having practiced passive love and letting go, I was a bit trifle premature. Om Dani Nu Nani Nuri Sawa. 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 We come to this early morning's fourth and final practice of slicing through dualities, obscuring emotions of dread and desire, known in some Tibetan circles as Treksho. In English, we could refer to it as awareness and letting go, or simply mindfulness and meditation, the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path that help us to generate the effortless effort, or Wu Wei, of the sixth fold. As we feel our chest swell, let us silently and mentally recite the verb watch. As we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite the verb rest. And as such, together, let us sit and breathe and watch and rest. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of dread, desire, and delusion, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In all pragmatism may all liberation of all others be fueled by the three worship-filling jewels of following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. Having sat for the better part of an hour, we might find it refreshing to conversationally recite the 8-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. May we free all through the three jewels, while performing Tibetan-inspired squat thrusts. This is completely, practice this in a manner that is rational and non-superstitious. Thank you so much for that. Let's get back over here. Puttering around off camera like the true professional that I am. Okay, let's set down the yoga mats. Adjust the smartphone. Okay, let's see. Take a moment to adjust my lower back. Oh boy, here we go. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. And now let's do some body weight rows. Left hand, right shin. Right hand, left shin. Reverse. All right. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In about 3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's second session of Tantric Chanting and Meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.